This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
And then some of them got up and started coming.
There must be 100 bodies in here. You give me a shotgun. What are we walking into here?
I'll stick with my shovel.
The prodigal brother returns.
Harold. What brings you back?
I need money, Joe.
You also offer cremations here, don't you?
You know, we don't do too much of that.
Dad's old mini fridge.
You caught me at a real bad time. Daddy had a side business going for years. Government deal, medical waste. You think you want to know my problems? And I'll tell you. She's a necro.
I like dead people.
He had it in his will to be cremated, but I didn't do it. It was meant to be.
We will help you. Not for free.
What are you talking about, Harold?
Maggots. For the funeral, we're going to have to replace the bones with PVC pipe.
That's desecration!
Why would you put a metal cage in front of the back door of a crematorium?
Christy, that ain't him. Just a corpse in a Russell suit. Get off of her! Life's blood, you'll see. Don't you worry now. I'll be right back. And stay out of that oven room until further notice. You got me?
Welcome all. Once again, I am your host, Sully, and my never-ending quest to tell you a story about an obscure, an underrated, an overrated, or just downright largely forgotten for better or worse franchise. Here, we're taking a look at the divisive and rather infamous Night of the Living Dead 3D. First, it was a 2006 remake. Then they followed it up with a prequel called Reanimation, done by the infamous garbage filmmaker Jeff Broadstreet. I had followed how they had done the remake for a while because it starred Sid Haig, who was fresh off doing all those Rob Zombie movies. It was already bad enough that they had done a 1999 special edition by the co-creator. It was Russo, not Romero. And yeah, they were just kind of cashing in on this. This played on Robert Rodriguez's now defunct El Rey cable network for a while. But I was mainly just knew about Reanimation because it starred two of my favorite, B-movie sci-fi action horror actors, Jeffrey Combs, who you'll know as, the protagonist from Reanimator and his various Star Trek roles, as well as Andrew Divoff, who, outside of various roles in A Low Down Dirty Shame and Air Force One, CSI Miami, was best known for his role as the evil genie in those Wishmaster horror comedies. Yeah, so both beyond talented character actors, much like Tony Todd, Lance Henriksen, Keith David, and even A-listers like Ed Harris and William Dafoe. Like, they have been in all kinds of productions, but they give it 100%. He noted in an interview how he and Combs, this was a match made in heaven, because like they'd already worked together on FAUST, Love of the Damned, for B-movie filmmaker Brian Yuzna. So it made sense for them to team up again. So let's get to the first one. So Broad Street, has been making all kinds of just low-budget festival and direct-to-video movies for a while, including Sex Bomb from 1989 and the 2010 documentary American Grindhouse. So he made Dr. Rage, an obscure movie I own but I've not seen yet because it's poorly rated. That was for the mockbuster place, The Asylum, who you guys will know from the Sharknado franchise. So if you're still with me, yeah, Dr. Rage starred Divoff and B-movie scream queen Debbie Rokan. And so, according to people I know who work with Divoff, apparently, he got along real well with Jeff Broadstreet, but he was a co-producer and co-funded it, but he did not make his proper money return. And honestly, he should have seen the first one they made, because Night of the Living Dead 3D is just so cheap. It's just, the Tom Savini remake is basically a director's cut, much like Evil Dead 2 is to Evil Dead 1. But this 3D is just so unimaginative. It just, Variety called it a cynical attempt to cash in on a classic. I was like, yeah, that's essentially it. So, absolute garbage. Don't watch it. It just doesn't do anything with its crazy premise. Now, that being said, as bad as Reanimation is, you will actually have a lot of fun making fun of this. It's set in like Pittsburgh. It doesn't make any sense. There's all kinds of references to necrophilia. The townspeople are watching someone based clearly on Sarah Palin. That's right, the former vice president candidate who ran with John McCain. And it makes no sense at all. I only found it interesting just because, again, Jeffrey Combs gets bitten by a vampire. He and Divoff are playing brothers, and they're trying to keep their undead zombie father alive. How this even fucking came up is just to anyone's curiosity. I have no idea why they did this at all. Dennis Hayden, that's right, the Huey Lewis lookalike from the original Die Hard, is in this as one of the zombies. Dennis Duff, who plays the Sarah Palin lookalike. You might know her from her various Full Moon movies, as well as The Young and the Restless. Yeah, no, this is garbage, but it's very amusing garbage, and I had fun making fun of it back in the day. I mainly just kind of gave it credit just because, Combs is giving it 100%, and Divoff gets to kill about 50 zombies with that shotgun of his. He plays a mortician, and it's a very inspired performance. But yeah, without these guys, this is an amateur hour. This is a very, very low budget movie with very cheap digital thing. I avoided it for the longest time, not only, and this was before I became a George Romero fan. Like, I'd heard of his stuff and seen, Night of the Living Dead referenced and spoofed, but I mainly was just more familiar with 28 Days Later and Doom, the video game and movie, as well as just other kind of zombie incarnations like the Borg on Star Trek. But yeah, having seen it now again, yeah, don't ever do that to yourself. Don't ever see it again unless you're trying to do a Riff Tracks or Mystery Science Theater type riffing troupe with your comedian friends. That is the best way to do it. Just do it if they're high or drunk and you want to make fun of an awful movie like Hard Rock Zombies or, one of those other Return to the Living Dead knockoff movies. That's the best way to go about this. This doesn't claim to be a sequel, but man, it's stuck in between spoof and being a B movie, and just Jeff Broadstreet is such an incompetent filmmaker. And was very going back to this, I was very maddened when I saw how there were people who worked on this who were ripped off. Like they were quoting on the IMDb board saying, "Don't support it. I didn't get paid." And so it seems like that, along with the fact that Divoff put in some money that he never got a return on, it's like, yeah, these guys got fucking ripped off. Fuck that. So don't ever pay any money for this. But if it comes on something like Prime, Shudder, or Tubi, definitely make fun of Reanimation with your friends, and obviously skip the remake. That's only deal is being in 3D, because it doesn't even make use of that. That's how lazy that one was. And Sid Haig was just phoning it in there. So shame on Screen Media for publishing this. I know they do some fun stuff once in a while, but man, it angers me to no end that no one got fucking paid. That's lame. Altogether, yeah, this was fun to sum up because, you do have to be able to just make fun of just stupid movies, and someone's got to watch some of these awful franchises. So I guess it's me on my podcast here. I never thought I'd be here, but here I am. Altogether, yeah. I mean, if you're a fan of these actors, again, you're going to probably see this eventually if you are a completist of the underrated Andrew Divoff, who, again, just his mixed heritage, being Russian and Venezuelan, is just, he is always a paratrooper. And obviously Jeffrey Combs is a selling point because he too has been in just his share of Full Moon and other weird horror and sci-fi movies, as well as voiceovers, and and other movies like From Beyond, Cyclone, and The Pit and the Pendulum, 1990 rehash. So yeah, no, I think they all did solid here. And but of course, you got to know just going in, it's some dog shit. It is some absolute garbage. So don't expect much, but do expect just some amusement on the second one, because you are going to laugh at just how just people will go to town and just make anything when they got this big a head. And yeah, altogether, these are rough. But again, if they come on a streaming site and you're a bad movie collector, definitely check them out. But that's all, folks. That is all.
Where would I be without Night of the Living Dead 3D reanimation?
Probably a lot better off.
Yeah, very better off. But man, had he not been in there basically going all Dwayne Jones shotgun happy, I don't think I would have made this for this movie. He definitely gets almost as big a count as Wishmaster. I counted 55 people getting shotgun from the blast.
Yeah, and that movie has Jeffrey Combs, which also helps it.
Yeah, there you go. FAUST reunion. And I know they're credited as executive producers. I think that just means that they added a lot to their role, because it's interesting. Really, the whole movie is a slog. It's got some random political humor in it. I heard some people, I remember on IMDb, some people saying on message boards that they worked as crew and they weren't paid. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty petty. I'm not cool with that. Unless you state that from the beginning and no one's getting paid, but come on. Be an unpaid festival or whatever, unless you're interning. But yeah, the whole movie is a real just mess. The necrophilia and all the other shit, it just feels like leftovers from Return of the Living Dead and all this other crap. And the only stuff that's interesting is seeing them, Andrew's basically nursing his zombie dad back to health, and he's like, Papa, no, don't eat him. And just the way he says that with such conviction, as like anyone else would have just been like, yeah, fuck it, I'm just gonna go pull up Pacino and just go, hoo-ha. And that shotgun, man. It's just some goofy Photoshop that comes out of the shotgun. But Divoff sells it. I think I even have some photos back when I ripped that off of Mega Upload, I think, back in the day.
Which, again, was completely legal. We got those legally, kids.
Totally legal. Totally. Oh, man. Movies. But yeah, if he wasn't in that shithole, I don't think anyone would ever watch that movie. I'm sure he has a funny story about it. Does he ever talk to you about that, or does he just go, move along?
Oh, that movie, well, there's like a whole other story with it. Like, he's never complained about the content of the film, but he really got screwed with his part of the investment. Like, I think he was a co-producer on that, and he never got paid anything for it.
That's bullshit. I thought he was.
So yeah, that's like a whole other issue that.
Because he
and
got
I
ripped off.
feel okay mentioning it because he has referenced that in some public interviews. But yeah, he was never got paid royalties for it, or whatever percentage he was owed for investing money in that project. I think that was one of only 2 films where he was a co-producer. The other one being FAUST.
Yeah. So he just thought it was I think you have the filmmaker to blame for it, because he clearly did not market it, or his so-called investments fell through. Because it's like, I don't think it played at any theaters except maybe a private festival screening.
I mean, there should still be some residuals from DVD sales and from it streaming on Netflix, which it did for quite a while. But yeah,
really?
got nothing from it.
There you go. I mean, so unpaid crew members and other stuff. So that tells me, yeah, that contract was crap. Either way, I don't think that guy's ever making a movie ever again. Yeah, he and Combs really play well off of each other, just as the funeral home directors. That's kind of why it's just fun. It's a bad horror movie that you just gotta just have fun with. Oh boy. If they weren't in it, I would have never even seen it in the first place. That was before back into zombie movies.
When are you going to learn to leave the dead alone?
God.
You would think after seeing these number of movies with the same kind of premise, they would say, you know what, maybe this is a bad idea.
Right.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a